The following video is on factoring by GCF, or greatest common factor, which is like undistributing. So here's our practice problem. If you want to pause it here and do the undistributing version. So what would you take out and then leave in the parentheses to do 5x plus 10 as your final simplified expression? So we want to know, what do they both have in common? The greatest common factor. I look at the factor chart. They both have a 5. One of the things to remember is that your factor will never be bigger, your GCF will never be bigger than the lowest coefficient. So I could take a 5 out because they both have a 5. And if I take that 5 out, I got to think, all right, 5 times what gets me 5x? Well, I would say 1x, because 5 times 1 gets me 5. And then I got to have an x there, so when 5 times the variable, it sticks together. Now I'm doing 5 times what gets me 10. Well, I know that's got to be a positive 2. This is a binomial. It's a two-termed expression here, and terms are split between addition and subtraction signs. So here's our next one, a little bit heavier. More than one variable is here. We got a and b and a squared. So we want to figure out, what do they both have in common? They both are even, which means we can always factor out a 2. 6 is not divisible by 4, so we put a 2 out. Then they both have an a. So we want to take out the a, and we take out the one that's got the lowest exponent on the variable, because we're going to be multiplying in, and when we multiply powers of like bases, you add their exponents. So 2 times 2 gets me 4. And if the a is multiplied, it would stick. I can't have a here. If I have an a there, a times a gets me a squared. So I cannot have an a there. But I do need a b, so I'm going to put a b here as well. So 2 times 2 is 4. A times b, ab, gets me 4ab. That one works there. Now I would do 2 times what gets me negative 6a. 2 times negative 3 gets me the negative 6 that I need to get a squared. So if I put another a there, their exponents would add a to the first, multiply those two, get you a squared. That's how I would GCF factor these two examples. Try to GCF factor these two examples here. Sorry for that pause. Here we go on some other examples. So I'm looking at my factor chart, 24 and 6. What do they have in common? The greatest common factor. Well, they've got 1, 2, 3, and 6. 6 is the greatest common factor. Remember, we want to start by looking at the lower of the two coefficients. So I can pull a 6 out. They've also both have an x, so I can pull an x out. When I pull 6x out, now I'm thinking of what I multiply to get 24 from 6. 6 times 4 gets me 24. My factor chart tells me that. Also, if I divided them, I would get that as well. Then I have 1x, and I need to get to x squared, so I got to put another x here. And then as a y. Since I could not take the y out, since the y is not in both, the y just shows up there inside the parentheses. Then 6x times what gets you 6x, since it's the same, since itself, the one thing you multiply by that mirrors, that gives you the same answer as a 1. That would get you the same answer. Go ahead, pause the video and try to do B. All right, factors for negative 30 and 20. 10 would be my greatest factor. And then also they both have an x, so I'm going to take the x out. That has the lowest of the exponents, so I'm going to take x to the third out. When I do that, 10 times negative 3, it's be negative 30. It's already x to the third, so I can't put an x here, or it would make this x to the fourth. And I got to put a y there, so it can end up with a y. Then I would say, all right, 10x cubed times what gets me plus 20 x to the fourth. I would say plus 2 and then x. So I can add the Ninja 1 plus the 3 for that. All right, pause the video and try to do C. C, the greatest common factor between them would be 3. So I can factor out a 3. They all have a y, so I take the y out with the lowest amount of exponents. This y to the ninja one is the one I'm going to take out. Then I do 3 times what gets me 18? 6. Then I need my y's to add up. I have 1. I need to get to 3, so I need y squared. So those all add up. Then I'm going to write minus. 3y times what gets me negative 6y? 3 times 2. And then I need y times y as well. 3y times what gets me negative 15y? I'm going to write minus 5. Okay, hopefully this video helps you with factoring by GCF. Use this to help you with your homework tonight.